Hello and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be focusing on psoas, pain or muscle tightness. Now when we're focusing on the psoas, it's important that we're also strengthening along with stretching that deep muscle. So for today's class, we're going to need a slider, just something to slide across the floor. It can be a shirt or even just your socks if you have a hardwood floor. And we'll need a chair or an elevated surface, and then the wall for balance and a couple stretches. So when you're ready, grab those pieces and we'll get started. For the first exercise, we're going to go to a chair. Now you can use a box, couch, doesn't matter where you use. You just want your quad to be about 90 degrees. This is just slightly higher for me. So find where it's comfortable for you. We're going to lift that knee off the block. So it's important that it's not too high that you can't lift your knee up. Now, finding a good upright position in our torso, we want to place our hands on our hips, engaged core for added stability. Now, it's also beneficial to do this close to a wall. I have the rig behind me if I lose my balance. You can also just put your hand against the wall to help stabilize and bring that focused stretch and strengthening into our hip flexor. So, tight upright core. We're going to rise this knee for 5 seconds and then release. I'm going to continue to do this for 5 reps. So finding that stabilizing core position, tall, upright, hands on your hips, and raising that knee. Now this is really targeting the hip flexor and the psoas and that deep stabilizing muscle in the hip. And relax. 9 more reps on this side. Driving that knee up, holding strong, core embraced, keeping that foot off, and relax. 8 more. Holding up, really feel the active stretch through the hip flexor, and down, and up, holding. On our 4th rep here. And relax, driving up for rep 5, holding, keeping that core engaged. Relax. It's also important that we're not dumping into our hip joint on your strong base leg, that you're also pressing up, trying to keep your hips parallel. Driving that knee up, holding, and relax. 4 more reps on this side. Driving up, holding, really focus on feeling this deep in that hip flexor. They'll be targeting that psoas muscle as well. Relax, and driving up. Don't forget to breathe, hold, keep pressing tall through this supporting leg, and relax. 2 more reps, driving that knee up. Don't forget to breathe, and down. Last one on this side, driving that knee up. Strong core, keep pressing up. Try to drive that knee up a little bit higher, the last rep, and relax. We're gonna switch sides here. You can take a second to relax that hip flexor. Now, again, tall, strong, upright posture. Knee, I'm taking the left foot up. That quad should be at about a 90-degree angle. Hands on your hips. Tall, braced core, upright posture, and driving this left leg up, holding, focusing on feeling this strengthening through the hip flexor and into that psoas. Relax, and up for our 2nd rep. Hold that knee up, and relax. Keep pressing strong through the supporting base leg. Leg up for our 3rd rep. And relax, and up for our 4th rep. Keep pressing tall through this supporting leg, core braced, so in a nice stable position, and up. You also don't want to let your torso round forward. Keep it tall and upright. We also don't want to arch back either. We're going to stay upright, so we're targeting this hip flexor. And relax, driving that knee up tall. And relax. We're halfway done. Driving this knee up. Feel this working through your hip flexor. Keep breathing and relax. 4 more reps. Driving that knee up. Holding. And relax. Last 3 reps. See if we can get a little bit higher this time. Driving that knee up. Strong base leg. And relax, 2 more reps. Keeping that torso upright, hands on your hips, focus on feeling that hip flexor work. And relax, and up. Driving that knee up higher, holding, and relax. Last one, tall, upright, up as high as you can. This is the last one, so see if you can reach your end range of motion here. Pressing tall through the base leg, and relax. And bring that down. Relax your hip flexors here. For the next stretch, we're going to need our slider or anything that will just help you move along the floor easily. Now, I want you to be close to a wall, so if you lose your balance, you can catch yourself. For this one, we're going to take our hands in front of us in a prayer pose. This helps support and bring and activates our core so we can stabilize throughout our torso. Keeping our posture upright is possible. You're going to take the left leg on that slider, hands up, stabilize core, and then we're going to slide that foot behind us until you feel a stretch in your hip flexor. Then we're going to slowly slide down. Now you're going to hover that knee just off the floor. Don't rest on the floor. We're going to hold here for just a second and then slowly come back up. Real slow and controlled. Really want to focus on that slow movement. Feel the stretch in that hip flexor. Then we start to go down. Keep hovering that knee just off the ground. We're going to do this for 10 reps. So this is rep 2. Up, slow and controlled. Core braced, arms up tall. Rep 3, holding that knee just off the ground. Really feel that hip flexor and psoas muscle working. And slide it up. And down. Keep holding upright. And back up. Almost halfway. Back. Hovering that knee. And back up. Keep your core tall. Don't also let your back arch. You want to keep your pelvis tucked. Sending that back leg until you feel that stretch in your hip flexor. Chest tall. Hold and back up. We're halfway done. Sliding that leg behind you, feel that stretch. Then we're lowering down. Keep that core braced and back up. 5 more reps. Sending that leg behind you till you feel that stretch. Then lowering back down. Keep your core tall and sliding back up. 4 more reps. Stay with me. Slide that foot behind you. Hovering that knee, slow and controlled. The more you tuck your pelvis, the more you're going to feel a stretch. And slide back up. And back down. Slow and controlled. And back up. Just 3 more reps. Feel that stretch, core braced. Make sure you're breathing. And back up. Just 2 more. Slide it behind you. Stay tall and back up. Just 2 more. Hold, hover that knee and back up. Slide that foot behind you. Last one here. And slide back up. We're gonna switch sides and go right back into it. Hands up, core braced. Sliding that right foot behind you until you feel that stretch in your hip flexor and psoas. Then slowly lowering down, hovering your knee just off the ground, then sliding back up. There's 1. And 2. Keep that core strong, chest upright. We don't want to lean forward as we go into these. Stay upright. There's 3. And 4. Nice, slow and control. That's where you're going to get the benefit out of these. And 4. 5, we're halfway done. Send that foot behind us. 6, 7, 3 more is all. Tuck your pelvis. Keep that stretch working in your hip flexor and psoas. And 7. 8, 2 more is all. 9, last one here, chest upright. See if we can sink a little bit deeper. And 10. Go ahead and set your slider aside. Now, a big cause for hip flexor and psoas pain and muscle tightness is the glutes. And it's very commonly overlooked. The glutes are the opposer for the hip flexor and psoas. So as one tightens and flexes, the other one releases. So it's important that we're also strengthening our glutes. So one of my favorite glute strengthening exercises is going to be the glute bridge. Now, we're going to come down to the ground on our backs. Want your hands on your hips. Feet just outside of hip width apart. Now we're going to press into our glute bridge, but as you press up, I want you to think about tucking your pelvis and raising your hips up as high as you can. Try to get to parallel. If you can't get to full parallel, that's fine. You'll be able to get there the more you do of these. We're going to do this for 10 reps, slow and controlled. Tucking your pelvis, lifting your hips up, squeezing at the top, and slowly lower back down. Again, tucking through the pelvis first, pressing up as high as you can, holding, squeezing through the glutes, and back down. 8 more reps of these, pressing up, holding, pressing up as high as you can, but we're not just arching the back and sticking our ribs out. We're making sure we're tucking our ribs and our pelvis, and back down. Pressing up, and slowly lowering back down. You can also lift your toes off the ground to increase the stretch and the difficulty here, and back down. Pressing up, we're halfway done. Holding at the top, squeezing through the glutes, and back down. Slow and controlled. It's where we're going to get the benefit from these body weight movements. And back down. 4 more reps. Three more. Two more. Slow and controlled. Pressing up. And last one here. And come on down. We're going to come down to the ground on our bellies, but we're going to use the wall. So come to the wall as support. You can take your shins up against the wall at a 90-degree angle and then lower your body down to the ground. Now from here, you're going to raise your chest just slightly, enough to get your elbows underneath you. So a very slow, light arch in the back. But the big thing is we don't want to let our hips raise up off the floor. We want to press our hip flexors and quads into the ground and press your feet into that wall. Inch yourself back so your knees and shins are butting up against the wall. Then from here, we're gonna just raise the chest and then pull your chin in. Now, already here, you should be feeling a deep stretch in your hip flexor and quad and going into that psoas muscle. It's important that we're actively pressing our hips into the ground, raising and pressing as if we're trying to round our upper back and pull our chin in. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. So find a position that's comfortable enough for you to hold here, but still stretching that hip flexor and psoas. Rounding in, It's also important to remember in these stretches, especially if you're already in pain with your psoas, I don't want you to push past any pain or pinching in your hip flexors, psoas, glutes. There should be none of that in these stretches. Find a place that is comfortable enough to hold, where it's just moderately uncomfortable or you feel a gentle stretch. And slowly relax your chest down out of that stretch. Now from here, we're gonna keep the left knee up against the wall. You can roll to the side slightly. We're gonna bring that right knee out to a 90-degree angle here. Find a comfortable position. If you can, prop yourself up on your elbows. Now from here, we're gonna take that right knee and pull it away from the wall as high as we can, holding, and for 30 seconds, holding here, and back down. We're just gonna do that for 5 more reps here. If you can, also pull your chin in and press your hip flexors into the mat. So again, pulling that knee up and off the wall, holding here, and back down. Just a couple seconds for that hold, and then 3 more reps, and then we're gonna switch sides. Pressing up, rounding your upper back, pulling your chin in, lifting that leg up, holding, and back down. Now you can keep that knee slightly off the ground, or you can rest it on the ground as well, whatever variation you feel your body is ready for. And pressing up, pulling that leg up and off the ground, and back down. 2 more reps, and back down. 1 more rep, pulling up, and back. Switching sides here. Taking that left knee out at a 90-degree angle and pressing up, rounding the chin, holding 1 for a couple seconds and back down. Now for rep 2. Three more reps on this side. 2 more reps. And back, and 3, and last one, and relax. Now for our last couple stretches, we're gonna need some sort of padding on your knee. I'm gonna use my slider, but grab a pillow or rolled up towel, something to make this comfortable. We're gonna be in this stretch for a couple minutes. So we're gonna do what is called the couch stretch, taking our right knee bent and back and our toe up against the wall. Now it's important that our knee isn't butted up against the wall, that we're having to lean forward or arch our back to get our chest up. So pull that knee away from the wall enough that you can tuck your pelvis, and as soon as you tuck your pelvis, you're going to feel an intense stretch in your hip flexor going into your quad and that psoas muscle. Now from here, we're just going to slightly lean away from the wall. Now your exact position is going to be different for each person, but gently move a little bit until you find where that stretch is targeting your hip flexor or your psoas muscle. From here, we're just gonna hold this position for 30 seconds. So breathe through here, hold. Think about tucking your pelvis. Keep your chest upright and tall. I don't want your lower back to arch and your chest to come out or lean forward. Keep that chest tall, pressing your hips down. I'm just gonna hold here. Keep tucking that pelvis. Now from here, I want you to take your hands up and we're going to twist towards this bent flexed knee, and that's going to target that psoas muscle in just a different position. So holding here, keeping your chest tall, just breathing. We're going to hold this for another 30 seconds. Keep your core and chest upright, twisting through this torso, holding this for 30 seconds. Make sure we're breathing when we're holding these stretches. Slowly bringing our torso back to alignment, placing your left hand on your left knee. I want you to raise your right hand up to the ceiling. And now, not arching our back or leaning forward, we want to keep our torso square and then side bending away from this hip flexor that we're stretching here. It's going to target that hip flexor and that psoas in a deeper, different position. Stretching up, holding this for 30 seconds. Keep holding and relax. Come back to center and slowly come on out of this stretch. We're gonna switch legs. Bending now the left leg and putting that left foot up against the wall. Finding that sweet spot so you can tuck the pelvis and get your chest upright and tall. And again, just leaning forward, finding that sticky point for you where you feel the stretch deep in the hip flexor and psoas muscle. Big deep breaths. Tucking that pelvis. This is an active stretch, but again, especially if you're already in pain with your psoas, it's important not to be pushing past any pinching or extreme pain. Just a moderate stretch here. Holding here for 30 seconds. Breathe into the stretch. You can think about actively bringing your mind and attention to that hip flexor and that psoas, inviting some rest and relaxing energy and mind-body connection there. Now we're going to take our hands up, cross our hands in front of us and twist towards that leg. Now we're twisting through our torso. We're not arching our lower back or relaxing that stretch, still holding it, just targeting that psoas in a slightly different position here. Big deep breaths. Staying active here. Now, slowly bringing your torso to center alignment, placing your right hand on the right knee, taking that left hand up and over. Again, we're not arching or leaning forward or staying square with our hips, and then just leaning through that side, stretching up. You're gonna feel an intense stretch here throughout that hip flexor, quad, and then going into that psoas muscle. Keep holding strong, reaching up. We're not dumping and falling over. We're thinking about root to rise, stretching up, and then leaning over. Our last stretch here, stay strong. Stretching up. Last few seconds. And slowly come back to center and relax out of this stretch. Great job on completing this video. With this stretching, especially if you're already having psoas pain, take it slow, be gentle, listening to your body. Think about these stretches and these strengthening exercises as recovery. So we're not trying to push past any pain or pinching, but bringing strengthening, stability, and opening up those muscles, inviting them to relax. So I hope you enjoyed this class. I look forward to seeing you next time.